So as always, feel free, throw your questions in the chat. I will get to them as I see them. If you're watching after, I'll um, go ahead and post your questions. We'll use them in for the following week. Um, from last week, there was one question I missed. It came in just after I finished. It was asked for someone starting out pertaining to a workout and everything. How do you create a good schedule and routine workout? So there's some strategies with that there. Um, First and foremost, kind of piggybacking on what I talked about either last week or 2 weeks ago, um, pick a time that realistically works in your schedule. Don't pick a time that either you're going to fight getting up to do. It's not going to be, it's really unlikely that you can make it either to the gym or get out of the house at that time. You want to start by picking a time that is realistic to you to commit whatever amount of time you want to commit to for your workout. Starting out, again, I recommend, obviously doing something every day is ideal, but start small, build on your successes from there. What I mean by that is, a lot of people will come out of the gates and say, I'm going to get to the gym, 3 to 5 days a week. I'm going to work out for 60 minutes. And that's great. There's nothing wrong with pursuing that, but that's a lot of time to all of a sudden make available in your schedule, especially if you're not currently doing anything at all. So what I see a lot of the times is people start, they'll get 1, 2 times a week, but because they set 3 to 5, they get frustrated, and that frustration leads to burnout because they're just constantly missing their mark and never seeing the success of that, and then they end up quitting. Where what they're not looking at is like you're actually getting to the gym 1 to 2 times a week when you weren't at all. That's an accomplishment. That's progress. So what I recommend for a lot of people who are struggling from the time factor is let's start small and reasonable. 5 minutes, 1 day a week, twice a week, something along that lines. Like it's not going to kill your schedule if you do it, um, but it's definitely something that can be fit in. Even something as basic as I'm going to go for a walk twice a week for 5 minutes. Um, Pick the time, put it on your calendar, and then start following through with it. Once you accomplish, twice a week for 5 minutes, you can either add a third day a week, or you can start adding more time to the days that you are going and just add a little bit every time. Those little victories give you the momentum to really start driving more and more success with your health pursuits, whether it be fitness, nutrition. On the flip side, we see the same thing on nutrition where people come into trying to change things by completely overhauling everything in their diet. And that's daunting, it's difficult. It's usually a lot of things that are hard to follow through with. Whereas just simply picking 1 to 2 things that could be improved upon um, go a long way into building that success. For example, a lot of times we look at for clients either some sort of reduction in high calorie drinks or adding in vegetables as kind of a primary focus for meal design. Sometimes people need help with getting their protein source in regularly throughout the day, but simply picking just 1 or 2 things and say, hey, can we do this at least 5 to 6 days out of the 7 days in the week? Start with that, accomplish that. If we're not accomplishing it, let's look at what's keeping us from being successful with it. Game plan, action plan, like how can we change that to be better and build on the successes that you do have. I know for a lot of people, it's very easy to fall into focusing on what you're not doing and getting frustrated, getting angry with yourselves and failing to look at what you are doing that is progress, that is success. For example, like we talked about at the beginning, people getting frustrated because, while I'm only getting to the gym 1 to 2 days a week and I'm supposed to be there, 3 to 5, I might as well just not do anything. It's like, well, like, you've actually added 1 to 2 workouts into your weekly routine that you weren't doing already. That's progress. That will create some change in your body that will make it easier for you to see adding in that third day, and then maybe either doing the fourth day or just simply doing a little bit more time on the 3 days that you're already doing. It's starting small and building on success with the momentum that you generate is a lot easier for creating, one, something sustainable that you can keep with long term, but two, getting through that typical frustration of, well, I haven't done this, I haven't done that, and staying in the negative mindset that leads to ultimately quitting most of these pursuits for people is something that I see most often. Um, Both in exercise, nutrition, I've even seen it in other elements of habit change. Um, you have to be careful about trying to change too many things all at once, because it's very difficult when we're trying to add more time to exercise. So that means making up more time in your schedule, which means changing a lot of your habits, a lot of your routines around what you do and how you spend your time, the types of foods that you're eating. So whether that be changing your recipes, changing your meal prep, changing your grocery times, changing what you're getting at the grocery, what you're eating, who you're eating with. Like, there's so many different levels of work that has to be done with any one of those things. And it's hard to do all at once. It's much easier to just take 1 week at a time. Let's pick 1 or 2 things. What can we improve upon? Okay, build upon that. Okay, we accomplished this, this, and this. Okay, let's add this. We struggled here. Okay, why did we struggle? Was it environment? Was it just natural habits? Was it lack of planning or preparation? Um, Based upon what the cause was, then we can action plan on what we need to do to be more successful going into the next week. But the biggest thing is just simply being reasonable and realistic when you're setting those goals with yourself. A lot of us, because we get super motivated for, you know, resolutions, trips coming up, weddings, things like that, we get really motivated to change everything. But in that pursuit, it can cause a lot of frustration. It can lead to burnout. It can lead to creating unhealthy habits with exercise. Um, we don't want to be leaning into any of these things with a negative attitude either on ourselves about it, or simply saying like, oh, I gotta get up at 4 a.m. to do my workout because that's when I'm supposed to work out according to, you know, the last fitness journal that I read. Like, pick a time that realistically fits in your schedule. If you can't get up earlier in the morning, don't try and make a commitment to do your workouts in the morning. But on the flip side, if you're someone who, once you're done with work, you're tired and all you want to do is crash, maybe that's not the best time to pick for you either. Um, Finding the time that works best for you goes a long way. Now, if you're struggling in aspects of too much fatigue, maybe we need to look at your nutrition and your sleeping habits first to help your body produce and have more energy. So the idea of pursuing additional exercise is more feasible at that point, because now you're not run down just from your typical day without doing anything extra on top of that. So that's kind of biggest aspect of that, is be realistic with what you start with, stay small with your goals, and then build on that success, rather than focusing on like what the ultimate ideal outcome is first. Start small, build to that success, and go from there. All right, let's see if any other questions have come in. Looks like we are good, so I'll go ahead and close it there. Thank you everyone who takes the time to watch, and anyone who posts questions. I always appreciate it. Makes my job easier so I know what you guys want to hear about and talk about. So let's keep it going. We'll see you again next week. In the meantime, just remember to stay persistent in your consistent pursuit of health.